So the reason why this is to explain a little bit about Pumse and why we do Pumse. For the longest time, I never really understood why we did Pumse, and then I kind of had a good gist about the Pumse. But this kind of helped me to realize the importance of Pumse or patterns. And there's a few topics I want to kind of go over. Number one is kind of the reason how they came about, the different types of Pumse, um, the different types of forms that go on. And I'm going to go over them real quick. So, for instance, if you had every single um, strike, kick, knee, elbow, everything put together, jumps, movements, and you try to teach someone them organically without even ever um, basically showing them how to do it, it will take you forever to do it. What the Pumse do, they give you the ability to get everyone collectively to move the same, think the same, and particularly our Pumse sets are designed for you to fight multiple opponents at one time. I have to say this: in the real world, me having to fight multiple opponents in real life in a real life situation, I want to call it the field. Um, it works because it most of the time when you get into boxing and some other styles, Muay Thai, you're directing your attack directly toward one person. The Pumse get you to where you have to change directions quickly and then engage another target and neutralize that target and then address another target that's coming at you. So this is perfect. Now you had to have these different types of dexterity, and then you have to respond quickly and fast. So the patterns also show that you're able to respond in a real time, but in a safe setting where seldom do people get hurt doing pumps. You know, if you stretch accordingly, you can. The other reason is each pumse, as you know, if you're in my school, if you're in my class, you know each pumse has to do with different philosophical mentions about that pattern. For instance, let's say if we're going to do take from Iljong, you know that means heaven and light. So when you're doing that pattern, it's going to remind you to do something that's more conducive to heaven and light, and not just do something that's more fiery for Tiger Form 3 or Tiger Form Samjong. So you want, when you get the philosophy behind it, you're just not kicking and punching. You're just not um, just throwing your fist in the air. And other styles of fighting and some martial arts, they don't. They just aim to basically eliminate. Now the Pumse, when you do the Pumse, they align you up to with your meridian lines, just like Tai Chi. The reason why Tai Chi heals you very well is because it makes you get in certain positions in order to engage your meridian lines. And that lines your chakras. And when all your chakras are open, that's when you're able. So these different movements and also the yelling and the pattern too get you used to yelling because some people are timid and won't yell. Some people will attack you because they know you're not going to audibly challenge them. You have to be willing and ready to audibly challenge somebody that's fighting you. That's why before you get into a real altercation or you practice and you yell, "Ah!" You get your body going. That gets your adrenaline going in your body. That oral chakra, that frequency, like Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe to understand frequency and vibration. And guess what? When you scream, when you yell, "Ah!" like that, you're awakening your body. You're awakening the lion and the dragon that's sleeping inside of you. And I don't care how small or how timid. If you wake that dragon up, it's going to come out roaring, and the teeth and the claws are going to be there, and even the fire. So that's why I encourage people to really use their throat chakra and use their voice because it is an effective weapon. I've seen people get beat up and yell at the person to stop beating them up, and the person that has more power stops because they said, "Stop beating me up." It's just enough to make them stop. So the patterns require that you have a certain level of flexibility. I want you to understand that you can break the patterns down. Each of the pattern can be broken down to where you can practice just that specific one. If you notice that your punch is not going to break a board, your punch is not going to break and snap a board, or your kick, you need to do that kick over and over and over till you get it all together. Once it's together and you understand it, then you're fine. You can keep moving on. But if you know you do a side kick and like in Tiger 7 and you suck at it, and you know that your elbows are not lining up correctly, that means you need to practice your elbows. You need to get in front of a mirror and then practice your elbows and your punches and stuff like that. That's how you get better at it. And if need be, you need to hold on to a table, a tree, a post, a person, whatever you need, just so you can practice and stabilize that kick. That way, you're not using all of your body. You're just isolating that one part of your leg that you need to get fixed. So, with that said, that's a little bit about Poomsae. But I want to add one little thing. The Poomsaes allow you to find yourself in time and space. And you don't realize in life, though, everything is about timing. There's a reason why the sun comes up at a certain time. There's a reason why the moon comes up at some time. And it has an effect of everything, as you already know, the tides. Everything has a big pull. So, with that said, everything has to be synchronized perfectly. When you're locked in combat, and even when you're just trying to train, guess what happens? If you want to put this in your body to be at the right time in the right place. And sometimes it doesn't matter your dexterity, it doesn't matter your strength. All it matters, only one thing matters, and that is that you hit the specific point at the specific time. And then guess what? Everything else falls in place. It's like the stack of dominoes. If you got different dominoes stacked, if you spread them out, guess what? One will fall in one hit. But if you want them all to hit each other and fall, and maybe you want this side to go plop at the same time as this side, you have to time it together. The same thing is orchestrated. A good fight is an orchestration. It's like music, but it's all a bunch of chaos being directed in the right spot. So you want to be at the right place at the right time. Sometimes you cannot control the other person that you're engaged in combat with, or you cannot engage the situation that's going. But the one thing you can always control is yourself. If you can control yourself, that's half, if more than half of anything. Most of the time, if most things don't understand what's going on, they're just flying off the seat of their pants, which is okay to fly off the seat of your pants. But if you can be where you want to be, when you want to be there, and intersect them at a certain time, in a certain place, man, when the hatchet falls, you won't be there. And guess what? By the time the person who just dropped the hatchet realized that they dropped the hatchet, guess what happens? Your hands is already at the end of it. So what I'm trying to say is you want to be at the perfect place at the perfect time, and the patterns will give you that ability. You master the patterns and you master yourself. A true master does not master the martial arts. A true master masters himself or herself. So that's what you're doing through the Poomsae. Everything must be perfect. Even your hair must be perfect. Stances must be perfect. Toes must be perfect. Everything must be aligned. And when you do that, if you have the correct meridian lines in your body, guess what? That gives you the ability to give that superhuman power that most people never really have. You know? So we're putting it all together. And a lot of that has to do with the neurons. So I'm hoping this will help you guys out. If you have any questions or concerns, you can text to me 817-668-5425. That number still works. I don't care what number my number changes to. That number is the Doja number, and it will forever be that number to the end of time. So 817-668-5425. If you have any questions or wondering, hit me up there. If you need to talk to me video wise, we can talk video wise. So you just let me know what we need to do. If you need any questions or any concerns, then you need to hear from me. Starting this week, once a week, we're going to talk on the phone. So I'm going to call each of you guys on the phone. So that way, each one of you guys, if you have any questions or concerns, you can go over it. So that's all good. So anyway, thank you so much for your time. You guys are doing a good job. I'm really enjoying those kicks and those punches that you guys were doing, and then as well as your rebuttals with the form. So thank you guys. You have a great time. All right, God bless. Godspeed.